Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we've got two feats to review on our feat review series. The first one we're going to do today is the Spell Sniper feat. We're going to look at the 2014 version, or the 5e version, or we're also going to call it the 5.0 version. And then we're going to look at the 2024 version. Also, now I'm calling that the 5.24 version. One of my subscribers and watchers came up with that little thing, so I'm going to start using it. I thought it sounded pretty cool. The other feat that we're going to look at is Tavern Brawler. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at the 5.0 and the 5.25 or 5.24, and we're going to look at what's the same, what's new, what's changed or been deleted. But hey guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button. And I do just want to point out, and I have a couple of links in the below where I have a couple of adventures that are on Dungeon Masters Guild. First we got Vault of the Worm. There it is. And we've got the Painted Rock. There it is. So, go over to Dungeon Masters Guild and check those out. If you like them, they're there. They're not very expensive, a couple of bucks each. And, I'd appreciate the patronage. I'm in the process of writing more, trying to get those up as I can. Hoping by the end of 2025, we'll have at least 3 more adventures up. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about Spell Sniper first. So here is the legacy version of Spell Sniper. It did have a prerequisite. You did have to be able to cast at least one spell. And here is the new 5.24 version. Now it's a general feat, which requires you to be at least 4th level, and it still requires spellcasting or packed magic features. So they kind of changed the prerequisite a little bit. So the original one, 5.0, allowed you to double the range of any spell that requires you to make an attack roll. So that just says nothing about range until it gets to the end of the sentence. When you cast a spell that requires you to make an attack roll, some of those spells had a range of touch. So that's 0. Double of 0 is still 0. So I think they cleaned up the... there's a change. We're going to talk about that. Secondly, your ranged spell attacks ignore half and 3/4 cover. So this goes with the whole, I'm going to be able to hit you no matter what part of your body I can see or how much of you I can see as a target. And then lastly, you learned one cantrip that requires an attack roll, and you got to choose this from Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, Warlock, or Wizard. And then your spellcasting ability for this depends on the list you chose. So then it's Charisma for Bards and Sorcerers and Warlocks and so on and so forth. Okay, so that was the 5.0 version. Here is the 5.24 version. Again, requires 4th level or higher and the ability to cast spells or pack magic. So, as we have seen with most of these general feats that do require you to be 4th level, there is a bump to a stat. And you get to choose Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma. That is a new thing. That is new. The prerequisite is sort of new. It's a change. So they added the level 4. Secondly, your attack rolls for spells ignore half cover and 3 cover. That is the same. There was no change there. Thirdly, we got casting into melee. This is a new feature. Being within 5 feet of an enemy does not impose disadvantage on your attack rolls with spells. So they did add with spells. They're very careful with that. But that is a new feature. Very new. So you're not going to have disadvantage, if somebody moves right up to you as a caster. And then lastly, they did change the doubling of the range. So when you cast a spell that has a range of at least 10 feet and requires you to make an attack roll, you can increase the spell's range by 60 feet. So what does that mean? It doesn't say melee attack roll, it just says attack roll. So we're going to look a little bit at some of the cantrips and how this is going to affect some of the cantrips. First off, what did I give Spell Sniper as a grade before? Like a C+. It was okay. You got a free cantrip. You doubled the range, which a lot of these spells had a pretty long range. And you got to ignore half cover, 3 cover, which doesn't necessarily come into play very much. What do I give the new one? Well, because it's got a bump to a stat, that's great. You can cast in melee, which is great. I'll give it a solid B. That's where I'll take it. That's a solid B. There might be some other feats that I might want to take other than Spell Sniper, but this one could come in handy in some instances. Okay, let's talk a little bit about cantrips and how this is going to affect cantrips. So remember, I want you to remember that it requires you to make an attack roll. It doesn't say what kind of attack roll. It doesn't say ranged spell attack. It doesn't say melee attack. It just says attack roll. So that's very important to understand. So things like Acid Splash, this one is unaffected because it's a saving throw. And it was previously it was also a saving throw. So it's a saving throw. Chill Touch. So Chill Touch used to be a ranged attack. Now it's a touch attack. So it doesn't really affect this one at all because it's a touch attack. But things like Eldritch Blast, which have a range, you are making a ranged spell attack. So you increase the range by 60 feet. So this goes from 120 to 180 feet. And then you get the ignore cover stuff. So that's a little bit of a bump to that one, not very much. Firebolt is basically the same. It's got a range of 120 feet. Now it becomes a range of 180 feet. And you ignore cover, that kind of thing. You can use it in melee. So that's not really a good one. Frostbite is still here. There's no legacy version of Frostbite. Spells like Lightning Lure. So that's a strength saving throw, so we don't have to worry about that one. Mind Sliver is a saving throw. And as you can see, there's actually not that many attack ones. Now, the old Poison Spray, which I gave a horrible grade to when I did this one, was a Constitution saving throw. Poison Spray is now a ranged spell attack, which improves it massively, and it goes from a range of 30 feet with this particular feat to a range of 90 feet. So when it does pretty good damage, it's a D12, which goes to a 2, a 3, and a 4 D12. So that's not bad. And it's it's poison damage. That's So, there's a lot of stuff that's resistant to poison. Ray of Frost is still a ranged attack, so you could use that one. That one goes to a range of 120 feet. It's got the reduction in speed still. Shocking Grasp is a touch attack, so we can ignore that one. We've got Starry Wisp. This is kind of new. It's a ranged attack. This one goes to 120 feet, and it gets rid of some invisibility. Thorn Whip. Okay, this is the one I really wanted to point out. This has a range of 30 feet now. Make a melee spell attack against a target on a hit. Guess what? You are making a spell attack. When you cast a spell that has a range of at least 10 feet, range, 30 feet, okay, check, got it, and requires you to make an attack roll. Doesn't say what kind of attack roll, it just says attack roll. So there it is, check. You can increase the range by 60 feet. Thorn Whip now has a range of 90 feet with Spell Sniper. That's pretty awesome. You can pull it 10 feet closer, so you can kind of slowly, like if something's running away, you can pull it in. You can kind of reverse some of that movement. And then there's a few other things. So most of these other things require some kind of saving throw, like Thunderclap. So, it's pretty good. It's not fantastic. It does give you a bump to an ability score, bypassing cover, and you get the increased range, but it's not doubling range. So, but there are some good things. Okay. Second feat we want to talk about, and we're going to go through this one kind of the same way, where we're going to talk about things that are the same, things that are new, and things that are changed or deleted, is Tavern Brawler. So here is the original Tavern Brawler. It gave you a bump to a stat. That's always great. It allowed you to be proficient with improvised weapons. Okay, that's just okay. Your unarmed strikes now use a D4. That's just okay. And then when you hit a creature with an unarmed strike or an improvised weapon on your turn, you can use a bonus action to attempt to grapple. Grapple normally was an action to use, and it was an athletics check against athletics versus acrobatics. So this is a good one. That's the main one out of this one, was this last bullet. And then the bump. The other two things were okay. And if you were a monk that took this, then you were basically a grappling monk. And I would give this one probably a B-. So, it was okay. However, now with the 5.24 version of this, it's an origin feat. So that means it's free, and that's a change. So before it was just a feat with no prerequisites. Now it's an origin feat, which essentially means you can take it right away for free. So things that stayed the same were you got proficiency with improvised weapons and the damage rolls. When you make an unarmed strike, you deal damage. You can deal damage equal to 1d4 plus your strength. So normally it's 1 plus your strength modifier. Now it's 1d4. So those things stayed the same. Here are things that are new. 1, it's a free feat. 2, whenever you roll a damage die for your unarmed strike, you can re-roll the die if it rolls a 1, and you must use the new roll. It doesn't say once per turn. It says whenever you do it, which means if monks are taking this, you need to take this. I'm telling you, monks need to take this because they start out getting 1 attack plus flurry of blows, which is 2 attacks, and that is 3 attacks. And if you rolled 3 1s, you can get rid of those. So you definitely want to take this. And then lastly, the new thing is the push. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike as part of an attack action, you can deal damage to the target and also push it 5 feet from you. You can only use this benefit once per turn. Guess what's not in that sentence? Limitations on size. Those are not in there. I don't see anything about size. It just says when you hit a creature. It doesn't say when you hit a creature that is large or smaller. It doesn't say when you hit a creature that is one size or smaller than you. It just says when you hit a creature. So guess what? You can hit a gargantuan creature and push it 5 feet. Now, why is that important? Pushing and forced movement pushes things back into bad, nasty spells like Walls of Fire, Cloud Kills, Spike Stones, all that stuff. All Spike Growth, all of that stuff. We had, in my last game, a druid who was casting Moonbeam. And Wall of Thorns, guess what? Push you back in. Taking damage every turn. There you go. You can only do it once a turn, but it's automatic too. There's no resistance against this. You just push them. 5 feet, done. So what got changed or deleted? Well, the grapple mechanic from the 5.0 version got deleted. And grappling is a little bit different, and I had a video about grappling. I'll put that link in the bottom too. You can see that on how grappling works. But the pushing thing is awesome. The reroll of damage rolls is awesome. And so with that, I'm going to give this one a B+. If it were 10 feet of push, I would give it an A- or an A. The push part and the fact that it's a free feat makes it even better. I would say if it was 10 feet, then I would give it an A-, but I'm going to give it a B+. And again, this is almost a mandatory feat now for monks. So I've got a Goliath Hill Giant Monk. So I've got a thing where I can automatically knock you prone. Now I can push you once a turn. I've got the Flurry of Blows, which I can re-roll all those ones if I roll any ones. I'm 5th level now, so I'm basically getting 4 attacks around with Flurry of Blows. I'm going to roll a 1. I've got Way of the Open Hand, so I can still push you. I can grapple you. I'm a grappler, too. That's the other thing. So I can grapple you. It's all kinds of just nastiness. But Tavern Brawler, because of this push and because of the damage rerolls, is very important for that. And it's free, so why wouldn't I take it? All right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.